Welcome to tonight's meeting of the Armada Village Council. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Want to take roll?
Shaw?
Here.
Clark?
Here.
Conan?
Here.
Adair? Here. Garza? Here. Belkey?
Here.
Clark?
To be.
Yeah.
No, I said Clark. Who am I missing?
Sarah.
Sturt's gone.
Okay.
Is that everything? Okay.
Okay. You have the agenda before you. Can I get a motion to approve or
I'll
correct?
move to approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
We are going to have an executive session tonight. Do we need to approve that with the amendment?
No, it's on
good?
there.
It's
Okay.
already on here,
All right,
so.
okay.
Okay. All in favor of the motion? Aye. Motion's
Who
approved.
was the second?
Shaw. Citizen comments. Go ahead.
You want to go first this time?
You go first.
Okay, all right. So, Bob Richter, Franklin Lane. I have more handouts. I'm turning into the handout guy. But, so I sat down and I played a game of what would our vision look like if we just sort of threw together some thought starters. So I put 9 things down, and I was just hoping that my actual favorite is the last one. But I was hoping that we could just sort of look at them and say, that sounds good, but this is the sort of thing. And then on the back is Macomb Township's mission statement, vision statement, values, and I thought it was a pretty good representative example of what a community does as a leadership organization as far as setting a set of visions and goals and objectives and saying what their values are. So I put that on the back, and I was just hoping as a thought starter, potentially, what I was really hoping is that at some point, maybe next meeting or something, that would show up on the agenda, that we had a vision, and we'd like to vote on the vision, and maybe decide on what that would be, and then move to the next step of creating a mission, and then starting to document. If you go to Macomb's website, that's the first page you see. You sign on, you do Macomb Township, board or anything, the first page you see is their values, their mission, their objectives, all laid out really clearly and plainly. And some good words too. I mean, it's not just fluff. It sounds like they really mean it. So I was really hoping that we could get to that level. I mean, financially we may never get to that level, but from a point of view of passion and caring about our community, I think we're beyond. I lived in Macomb for a long time. There's nowhere near as good a board as, I mean, they're I don't know, elected and all that, but they just don't seem to care about the community the way that you guys do. I just want us to have the best, sort of outlook on it. And that sets the tone, and we can use it to explain to our community what we're doing. If our mission is to look after, make Armada the best it can be, while by serving all of the whole community with professionalism, dedication, and care. And when someone asks you, well, why are you doing that? Well, we're dedicated to serving the whole community, and this is what we need to do that. This is part of our mission. It's part of our goals and objectives. It's part of who we are as a community. Having that statement allows us to explain a lot better to the community why we need to do the things we need to do, why we need to spend money on the roads, right? Why we need to spend money on the water, why we need to spend money on the sewers, right? And why eventually we may need to ask for an extra, mill or something to help us do that. At some point, if we define that, we have a chance of explaining to everybody why we're doing what we're doing. Right now, I don't think we have a good communication with our citizens as to what it is we're doing and why we're doing it. Anyway,
Thank you.
this is my perspective.
Kevin, did you want to go?
Yes, sir, I did. Kevin Brand, Armada resident. I'll keep this short. Just asking for an update on the snow ordinance. You have Mr. Bohorski here.
We haven't done anything on the snow ordinance. What we did, what you already know, is we sent letters to all the people who were in violation. But as far as an updating that ordinance, we haven't changed the ordinance any.
So what's to remediate the possibility of residents face planting into the ground when they go down the sidewalk and you have residents that don't care to shovel and they get
You know, I'm
themselves
just
injured?
trying to answer what's been done. I'm not gonna have, we can't have a debate doing citizen comments.
Well, it's not a debate, it was just a follow-up
Yeah.
question.
Anything else?
That's
Kevin?
it.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I remind everybody, if you haven't signed in, to please sign in to the sign-in sheet.
Okay. Well, then, no
I asked her 3 times.
Oh,
further citizen comments. We have no presentations tonight. Administrative reports. Amy, would you like to start today? I think a lot of people want to hear from you. I'm just guessing that.
It'll go kind of quick, just bear with me. Later tonight, we're going to be voting on the 7th Street Cape Seal process, but first I would like to thank Ann, first of all, for finding this process for us and for helping me pick out some of the streets. I just wanted to thank Ann. Second, I would like to thank Paul, our engineer, for helping me over the last few months because I've learned a lot. And I appreciate your kindness and your understanding with me because I'm very new to this, but I have learned a lot, so hopefully I'll just keep getting better. On Monday, May 5th, 2025, the village received one bid from Pavement Maintenance Systems for the 2025 Cape Sealing project. Pavement Maintenance Systems is a local company out of Emily City. Paul originally thought that there was only one local company that does this process, but then Pavement Maintenance Systems showed interest in our project. The original company we knew about, highway maintenance and construction, never gave us a bid, and we're not sure why. Either the job was too small for them or they were just getting too busy already. I am recommending that the village proceeds with this project. It is a good value, and if we develop a good relationship with this contractor, then hopefully they will come back in a couple years and do some more streets for us. Paul said that he spoke with a couple other communities that have used this contractor, and they have had good results too. And then Paul also said that he spoke with the owner of the company today and that he has done work with another small community like ours, and they're doing a few streets each year, so it just sounds like it might be a good fit for us, especially because they're so close. You know, like, it's half an hour for them to come here, so, I mean, I think that's, it's good, and it probably makes them feel a lot better that they're not driving a couple hours for our little job, so I think it'd be a great fit. And would you like to add anything?
Is this the right time? It's not on the agenda right now. or-
Well,
We can do that, I thought.
when
Yeah,
we
we'll
get
do
to
that
the
during-
agenda,
Okay.
but,
But thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Ross, you got something?
Yeah.
Silly question.
It's a rhetorical question.
I did mention the last time that every once in a while I make the mistake of look at Facebook. Every quarter, there's a rash of complaints and venting about water costs and how the water system's operated in the village. No offense to anybody that's out there, but I would say most of what they say is just wrong. It's wrong. They don't understand it. So I did get approval by the library to put on a public information session next Thursday, the 22nd, 6:30 to 7:45. Library closes at 8, so we gotta be out. I do have a flyer going around. You got an example of it. I did put a disclaimer. These are my impressions, my opinions, this is how the system operates from my perspective. It's not an endorsement by council, so I just want everybody to know that. But anybody's welcome. The last time I tried to do this, nobody showed up. So a lot of complaining, nobody shows up. That's my experience with this. I've tried it twice, and nobody shows. So
What time was it again?
Pardon?
What time was it?
6:30. I'll keep a seat for you right in the front. And, I look forward to questions. I think it's, we have a very good water system. I think it's run very well. We should be very proud of what we got. I tell everybody, the price is a little high. There's no doubt about it. There's not a lot we can do about it unless you want to sacrifice service and future improvements and so on. Okay, next item, on this last Friday, I entertained Fire Marshal Kevin Cannell from the Armada Township Fire Department doing an inspection of the waterworks. So he's looked at water treatment plant, 3 well houses, a water tower. We looked at the generators. What they really wanted to do is get a clear understanding of what our system was, what the issues might be, and if they had to fight a fire inside of the building, what chemicals did we have, and that type of stuff. He had no issues, everything was fine. He and I did discuss some small improvements. For example, switchology. We have a ventilation system, so if you have a chlorine spill, chlorine tends to sit in the building and it'll stay down low. If somebody comes in, they want to be able to hit the ventilator right away and not be wondering where the switch is. So we're gonna color code some of those switches so that they can quickly access those, small things like that. But there were no fire hazards that he was concerned of, and he thought the buildings were in great shape. So again, as I said, we got a great water system. I continue to have conversations with USG. That's the company that manages our water tower maintenance contract. They are scheduled to do interior painting this year, and one of the things we want them to do as they paint, they have to take off the insulation that's been there for 25 years, check underneath for rust, clean the rust up, repaint, and then put more insulation on there. When we did this originally, Bill Bolin from USG and I must have been talking past each other because he had something else being done. So we do have a cost estimate, which I think is still good. But what we do have that needs to come out of there is we have insulation around the base. They've said in all of their years looking at water towers, this is the only tower they've ever found with insulation around the base. And it should come out, and I would agree. It does tend to hide rust that could form on the side from leaks or whatever. In fact, we took a test patch out. Sure enough, we've got a rusty weld seam that needs to be touched up. So they've gone back. They're going to get an updated estimate. Should not be that much because it's relatively easy to pull the insulation off, but it could take up to 3 weeks to get a price. So that's the only contract action right now I have that is being held up by further discussions. I do have an excess balance, probably not the best way to say it, but I do have extra money in the water budget that could cover that, assuming it's not going to be astronomically high. It should not be. It was pretty easy to take off the insulation.
Also, we have a maintenance contract with those guys?
They do, but that is out of the scope. That's not in the scope.
But what they have to do inside the tank and then?
Yes, they will cover that.
That's covered with
Yeah.
our maintenance
The
contract.
insulation that we want to replace. Now, what
Right.
they would do is they would just go in, they would paint what they could see. So if we want them to,
Those are the guys we had when we put the tower up.
it was originally, and then the contracts changed hands. Just on the contract alone, it is a very favorable contract to us. Those contracts have changed a number of times over the years, and we pay a good rate. But every time we do something that's out of scope, it's going to be an amendment. And so taking the old insulation off, disposing, putting new insulation on is is gonna cost us. We do have a cost, and we did budget for that. It's this base insulation that I really don't know much about water towers. They just assure me, you really oughtn't have that in there, you really should take it off, we need to inspect, and so that's the piece. It only, if you look at the tower, you've got the inverted cone, and that's the section where the insulation is. It doesn't go up the standpipe, doesn't go into the pedosphere at the top, the round piece. So more to follow on that. Catching all
I
that?
said pedosphere, I've never heard that word.
Pedosphere. That's a pedosphere.
Well, I'm
200,000
impressed.
gallon pedosphere is what they call that, AKA water tower.
Well, I figured that out, yeah.
Hydrovacing, I think you know, is complete. I'm still chasing a couple residents. We're trying to get into the houses to confirm what the material is that they have at their meters. Once that's done, I know Paul's been waiting on this, we will have a firm list of the lead and the galvanized lines we have in the village. It is a lot less than I would have expected, so that's, if there's any good news, that's a task that we would undertake next year. We wanted to get all of the investigation done this year, so we had a finalized list. I think we're on track to do that. I'm hoping to have some numbers for you as of the next meeting. Just raw numbers, not a plan. Paul and I will then work on the plan on what's gonna get replaced and when and how we're gonna do it. Let me just see if I got it. I think that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And really, I know you struggle getting people there, but it's really great that you try to do this.
It's great. It's great information, and it is more complicated than people think. It's not as simple
But
as
again,
just
unfortunately, a lot of people want to get all their information from Facebook
Yeah.
rather than from the source, you know.
Very true.
Well, this is their chance.
But anyhow, moving on,
Dave, you're saying Facebook isn't the source? It's not the be
Well,
all
you
and
know,
end all, it's not God's
I think
gift
if you need
information?
surgery, you don't really want to go to Facebook, but you might want to try it. Mike, you got something for the parks or the planning
On
commission?
the planning commission, we're working on the master plan. We'll see on the meeting this time if they come, and they're supposed to be guiding us for the master plan. So we'll see what goes on with that. In the parks, I had a sign variance for the businesses that advertise in the park
Yeah.
for the signage. So they approved that.
When the concert start? June
June
what?
11th,
Yeah,
11.
June 11th.
I think, but yeah, that's what I was
The
told.
first
today.
one, I think it's the first Wednesday, or second Wednesday. of the
Second
month.
Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah. I've got the flyers, I'll throw them in your slots.
That's the one.
Okay.
Thank you, I don't have my phone.
That cover you, Mike?
Yep.
Okay.
Just one thing with for you, Fritz got a hold of me, I think he confused Christie for me. So I did tell him to contact the planning commission, and he wanted to know why he didn't get anything back. I said, because you didn't present anything really. So you need to present something to council, for the third to
To
the
the
planning
council,
board,
right,
for them to review before they can get back with you.
right,
So I don't know that he's contacted Christie yet.
okay. All right.
Okay, Joe, you got anything for the police department? I know you have several
I
things
saw
on,
those, yeah.
okay. Okay, well then, moving on from administrative reports, general business. You have the consent agenda, which includes the minutes, the bills, and Walk for Warriors request to cross Fulton Street. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support?
Clark and Adair. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion's approved. Okay, no old business, so we're gonna start with part-time police officers' pay, and Joe, that is yours.
The chief has asked me to bring to council our budgeted items for the police part-timers' wages. So as we discussed at budget, Police Chief Marley is requesting wages for the part-time police officers. Police Commissioner Darrell will discuss this with council. The current wages for part-time officers are as follows. $22.50 per hour for part-time police officers having less than 6 months of service to the village, $23 per hour for part-time police officers having 6 months but less than 1 year for the service to the village, and $23.50 per hour for part-time police officers having 1 year or more of service to the village. This equates to 65 cents per hour per raise across the board. So I would resolve to approve hourly wage rates effective for hours worked beginning the week of May 19th, 2025 for current part-time officers as follows. Their new rate would be $23.15 per hour for part-time police officers having less than 6 months or less to the service of the village, $23.65 per hour for part-time officers having 6 months or less than 1 year of service to the village, and $24.15 per hour for part-time police officers having 1 year or more of service to the village.
Support that. Support that.
Oh, okay.
You had it budgeted, yes.
You know, before we vote on this, just a note, and a lot of you may already know that, but we only have a couple of full-time police officers, our chief and Andrew. And we run it, try to run the 24-hour-a-day service. And by using part-timers, it's a lot less costly than if we hired, you know, all full-time employees with, of course, full-time benefits, medical, retirement, and that. But it does create a certain problems. Sometimes the chief's got to work pretty hard to get guys to come in because they got other responsibilities. Also, other communities are doing the same thing in an effort to save money, so the wages go up. In this particular case, it amounts to about 65 cents an hour. So I just wanted to mention that. I don't know if anybody else has anything, but, well, okay, you want to take a roll call, please?
Yes. Adair?
Yes.
Pelkey?
Yes.
Barzick?
Yes.
Konen?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
Shaw?
Yes.
Okay. And look who's still on this agenda
She's
here,
on
Joe. Approval to sell our old police car.
Chief is given a note here. I'm requesting your approval to place the out-of-service 2019 Police Explorer for sale using Bid Corp. The vehicle is to be sold as is with no repairs being done. Bid Corp is the usual company we use to dispose of surplus property. So he thanks you for your consideration in this matter.
Can I just make a note, Joe?
Sure.
I think it's a Ford Explorer.
Yeah, it is. not
Oh, I put
Chevy.
Chevy.
Yeah,
She read what I wrote. I know what I did.
I looked at that.
It is, and you didn't call me.
No.
A Chevy wouldn't have collapsed like that.
Because I wrote Chevy,
She
that's me,
wrote it in
I
the
wrote it,
motion.
you read it, it's fine.
You know,
It's in the motion.
The last time we did this, it was a Chevy Tahoe, so.
and again, we talked with several sources, as opposed to repairing it all or selling it as is, and consensus of the so-called experts that we talked to, they said you're really better off to just sell it as is. So, go ahead, Joe.
Okay.
Here.
All right, I would resolve to approve the sale of the 2019 Ford Explorer, VIN number 1F M5KAR8KGA62702 through the advertisement and bid solicitation on the online auction site, authorizing the police chief to accept the highest qualified bid received and authorize the village clerk to execute all documents required to transfer title to the vehicle.
Support.
Okay. We don't need
No,
that.
no.
So, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Okay. Now we're moving on to police radar gun replacement.
Radar gun replacement, it's got a lot of information in here.
I think he's got the bids. That's the bids that came in.
Yeah. And then you have to just listed
No, I don't. I just have,
96915.
yep.
Okay. So, the radar guns are out of service, out of,
Do you want to read that?
No.
Okay, all right, okay.
Because Armada Police currently use a custom signal Falcon handheld radar unit. When the engage button to get the vehicle speed is pushed in, the speed does not always register. It takes multiple pushings in of the engage button to get a speed reading, and sometimes not at all. The radar unit test button does not indicate the unit is working correctly. The radar unit is in two pieces, and I obtained a new lower half unit that has power cord and engage button to see if that would fix the problem, and it did not fix it. The power on button has now fallen off the radar unit, and I have secured it with Scotch tape to the unit so it would power out.
Scotch.
I am, that's what
Should
the
use-
Scotch tape.
should
Scotch
use-
tape.
Gorilla.
There's his problem. So he is requesting to purchase a new custom signal Falcon handheld radar unit from Custom Signals on the Michigan bid price of $969.15. I obtained a second price from Galls of $1,122.28 for comparison. Thank you for consideration of this matter. So $969 is his, $15 is his best. So,
Do we have a second to that?
She didn't read
You
the
gotta make a
motion.
motion yet.
Joe, I think you need,
Oh, I thought that-
I mean, I have, Jeff, I have in there to allow the police chief to purchase. Should I say sign at the end as well?
I would just say to purchase a new,
Okay.
I mean, we don't really know
Okay.
who's gonna do it.
All right.
so, I would resolve to allow the police chief to
I
purchase.
think she just wants to say to purchase,
Yep, to purchase.
to approve the purchase instead
Okay.
of.
Yeah,
allow.
to allow the police chief to purchase a new custom signal Falcon handheld radar unit from Custom Signal on the Michigan bid price of $969.15. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
all right. Well, I wasn't sure what he was correcting, so.
Is that your motion?
That's my motion.
All right.
Support.
Okay. Just one question I got in this, Joe, and I think I know the answer. We can't use salvage title on this, can we?
I don't think so.
I'm thinking we probably can't, but
No, 'cause
at least we should check on
not
into it to
stolen
see if we
vehicles.
can.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
there's no other questions. Yeah, we gotta have a roll call.
Adair,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Belkey,
Yes.
Garza,
Yes.
Conan.
Yes.
I am.
Okay. Motion's approved. Moving on to the item D, the Cape Sealing Program. I think that's yours, Amy.
Is this when Paul talks?
Well, between you and Paul,
Well, I pretty much said everything I needed to say about the program, and we talked about it in the past, and I'm hoping that we can go forward with it, so I'm ready to make the motion, but, Paul just talked, everybody was a little bit concerned about references with this company, and I think you're confident that it's a good company, and you've gotten some good references.
Yes, I know they've been in business for like 20 years at least, if not more. And it's not an industry that has a lot of people out there, so the fact that we actually got another bid than what I anticipated was a good thing.
okay.
And I did speak with him. done some other projects like this where there's a lot of prep work to do in advance. It's not just taking the truck out there and starting to seal like they would like to do. So he's hired another contractor that I am familiar with that's going to do all the prep work.
Okay, well, that's good. Go ahead.
Alright.
Can I ask?
Wait, yeah, well, sure.
So they've actually been out and physically looked at the streets to be done?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Because on their website, they say that this process is designed to extend the life of payments in fair to good condition.
Yes. Yeah, that's if you're just running the truck out there and sealing an existing paved street.
That's how they define their Cape Seal process. So you feel confident that the streets that we're going to give them to do are eligible for that?
Well, once they're prepared, they're not going to be just sealed like they are now. They'll be pulverized and reshaped and regraded and then compacted with a roller. So there's a brand new gravel base, basically.
Yeah, there were unit prices for pulverizing the existing asphalt. That wasn't in the bid.
So that'll make them in good condition to do it,
Yes.
qualifying condition to do it.
Yes, they're gonna grind it all up and then compact it down, add gravel where they need to, and then do the process over top of that.
They do regular roads this way, I mean,
Yes,
out in the county.
Right.
yeah.
Huff Road.
Yeah, I was gonna show that.
Yeah,
I've heard
Riley
about
Center.
Huff Road,
That's
Valley
forever.
Center.
Say that for 10 years.
Okay, so,
Okay, I move to award the bid for the 2025 Cape Sealing Program, contract number 2500098 to Pavement Maintenance Systems LLC, 384 Industrial Parkway, Emily City, Michigan 48444, at the unit prices bid, exclusive of unit prices bid for drain structures and related work, for an estimated project cost in the cumulative amount of $310,158.84, and authorize the street administrator to sign all project documents on behalf of the village.
Support.
we're gonna have to have a roll call on this.
Barzak?
Yes.
Shaw?
Yes.
Excuse me,
If you take out that entire 34,000, there may be some negotiating that needs to happen because I was including some of the general costs when I broke the
well,
account.
let us do this, and if there's a problem, get back to us, and,
If it needs to go up a little bit from that number.
Yeah, we're doing it, Paul, on unit prices. That's why we used estimated cumulative cost. We realized it's probably gonna go up and down based
Okay, I
on
didn't
the
know if that
quantity.
was like a not to exceed number.
No, we can't do not to exceed with unit pricing.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we ready? Barzak?
Yes.
Shaw?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
Belkey?
Yes.
Adair?
Yes.
Conan?
Yes.
To be done when? Yeah.
Sometime this year.
Much better when we see it done. But you got something else here too.
I do. I move to approve the contract for engineering services related to the 2025 Cape Sealing Program between the Village of Armada and Rowe Professional Services Company in the amount of $26,900, and authorize the street administrator to sign the contract on behalf of the village.
Support.
Just got that card.
Ready?
Yep.
Barzak?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
Belkey?
Yeah.
Adair?
Yes.
Conan?
Yes.
Shaw?
Yes.
Okay.
Good job, Amy.
So, moving on. Paul, you don't have to hang around, but you're certainly welcome to. And,
Run away, Paul, run away.
please keep everybody informed, Amy or
Sure.
Steve or whatever.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Drive safe.
Okay, earned sick time policy.
I'm actually gonna hand this to Jeff, he can explain it
Okay.
way better than I can.
All right, I'll try to give you a little background, and just kind of touch on the hot points, but back in 2018, there was a voter initiative in the state of Michigan to grant employees earned sick time. And the Michigan legislature at the time, knowing that that was going to go on the ballot, preemptively, which was their right, they preemptively adopted that language. But then very quickly amended it to the way they wanted it to read. So the special interest groups that were gathering signatures to put it on the ballot obviously were not terribly happy with that process. So they filed a challenge to it in the courts, and as you guys are well aware, the court process moves very slowly. So after really 6 years it took to get to the Michigan Supreme Court, and you probably read about this a little bit. At the end of 2024, or in 2024, the Supreme Court said the enact and amend process was not proper, and basically green-lighted the original language from the initiative to go into effect. There was immediately heavy lobbying by small business groups and things like that, saying this is going to, break us. We can't have it quite like this. So there really was you probably read about in the newspaper, there's a very strong lobbying effort in Lansing in January of this year to try to get this law right. So that by giving this earned sick time to all employees, both full and part-time, it was, trying to address, okay, how do we get the balance between giving people earned time off and not hurting businesses? So the result of that was a new law, which was Public Act number 2, so very early. Public Act 2 of 2025 was approved and took effect on February 21st. So essentially what it does is it guarantees employees, they earn sick time. For every 30 hours worked, you get 1 hour of earned sick time. So that's kind of like the minimum amount. You have to meet that. It's a little bit different. I don't want to get into all the details. A little bit different, obviously, for part-time employees because they don't work as many hours. But the process is essentially you're guaranteeing employees to earn this time. So you may ask, how does that affect the village? Not a lot, because as you know, most of our full-time employees have employment agreements, and there's a safe harbor under the statute that says as long as you give them what they would normally get under the act, 1 hour for every 30 hours work, you're good. You don't have to really change anything. So for the most part, all of our employees under our employment agreements, which you guys typically approve every 3 years, they already get enough sick time to get into that safe harbor. As Joe was referring to earlier today, part-time police officers who are eligible, that one is one that Becky does have to account for now. Now again, our part-time officers don't really earn a ton of time, so they don't generate a ton of earned sick leave. So that's kind of what has happened. Becky wanted to put together a policy, so she had kind of clear direction how this was going to, move forward with council's blessing. Obviously, that's why we're here tonight. So what does the act do? Well, obviously it gives employees, they accrue earned sick time, but it also expanded 2 things. One, how they can use it. So it really is a much broader definition of how you can use the time in the state law. And again, in our employment agreements, we're kind of a don't ask village, as are many municipalities. If you're going to take it, we're not going to really ask about it unless you're off for like an extended period of time. But other than that, we don't really say, what are you doing? So what the statute does is it explains what employees can use that time for. So it's not only the employee, I would call it the extended family. If you have to take care of an elderly parent, if you have to take care of a sick child, so it broadened the eligibility to use the accruing sick time, sick time. The other kind of significant change had to do with documentation. Can you ask for this? Can you ask for that? It does cover that type of thing. But again, for most of our employees, we're already pretty well protected in that regard.
And do you still have to bring in doctor's report or doctor's excuse?
Doctors.
Yeah, under certain circumstances you can. But
the law basically said if the employee asks for it, you know, that you can't deny, you just can't say, I'm too busy, you can't, you know, that's what they tried to get away from. So, I don't know, there's probably people in the audience that, even at work, this covers everybody in the state of Michigan,
Right.
except there's a small business exception, which we are not, we don't meet that threshold. Some interesting exceptions that do apply, council members, because you are elected officials, you do not earn sick time. Our salvage title, for the time that our officers work salvage title, they will not earn sick time, and that's because they get to determine their schedule. If we told them, here's the time you're gonna do it, it would be different. But because they schedule those appointments, they are not eligible to earn sick time for that activity. So I just wanted to highlight, you know, those ones that, if in case anybody had any questions about it. Most, you know, for a 40-hour week, most people, the amount is about 72 hours. If you do 2,080 hours divided by 30, you come out with about 72. So that's, you know, like I said, we give our employees slightly above that already, so I just wanted to point that out. This is not something that they can carry it forward year to year, but there's no cash out. So even if you built a really large, and that won't happen here because our part-time, like I said, our part-time police officers don't earn that much, but there's no cash out.
No cash.
The village can agree to do that under an employment agreement or a collective bargaining agreement, but that's a separate, again, that's kind of not really applicable to how the act itself is working. So I think I touched on the definition of family member is much broader now. I think that's pretty much it. I'm sure you had a chance to read through it. And like I said, Becky was just really wants to make sure she has some guidelines on how to account for this. I'm thinking if I missed anything, I know you've been involved in it a little bit, Michelle. But
Well, they can roll over.
they
the
can roll
72
over, correct.
hours. And some organizations are opting to front load the 72 hours and then work off of it. And we're not going to do that. We're gonna let it accrue as they earn
Correct.
it.
So if you front load it, then you do not have to allow them to carry it forward. So it's kind of like use it or lose it.
Right.
So, but we're not gonna do that because again, for our employee groups that are actually gonna accrue this,
Under something
we're giving them way more than they're probably gonna
Yeah.
otherwise
Yeah.
earn. So that
Right.
makes a good decision.
But that would make a difference on how Becky does salvage title, because I don't think we break out salvage title.
They're not eligible.
They're not
Yeah,
eligible.
That's what I'm
they're-
saying, oh, she's just never used it before, they've never accrued it before.
No.
The salvage title, I didn't know that, okay,
Mhm.
all right.
All right.
Okay, so, you have a motion, Joe, or,
Yeah, it's on the thing.
Yeah, it seems pretty straightforward to me, so, did somebody else want to make it? If not, I'll,
All right.
You're already done.
all right, motion to adopt the earned sick leave time policy is presented retroactively effective on February 21st, 2025.
Support.
okay, any questions? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved.
Thanks for your help, John.
No problem.
And, upcoming agenda items?
I've got one, make Kevin happy. We need to talk about some code enforcement issues with the snow, the grass, the weeds, rubbish, that kind of thing. So start some dialogue. I've got a few ideas. You in the office have some ideas, so we'll start talking about it.
Okay, again, we do have a code enforcer, that kinda comes under you, Joe, the code enforcer, so. I think he had moved, he's moving closer here, so we should be able to get a little more, so you might wanna talk to him.
Okay.
But, put that on, anybody else, Ross?
Try to come back with the lead galvanized numbers, as I mentioned, and hopefully we can come back with something on USG with the water tower. So
Okay,
put those on, keep my fingers crossed.
anybody else?
Becky gave us this memo on talking about the numbers on the addresses. Do we need to put that on the agenda?
About it lasted too long. The
It's
police
all-
Well, you
chief,
told me to put it on, so
Yeah.
I thought that was a
Police chief
police thing.
yeah,
Oh, okay,
the
Yeah.
police chief and the fire department are working on that.
okay. Because I just noticed
Yep.
you had a memo here.
So we're not gonna put that on the agenda at this
No, we
time?
already
Not
talked
us.
about that,
Okay,
going through the police department and the fire department.
Okay.
okay. Then, moving on, citizen comments?
We put the vision on the agenda?
You know, I
I
think
think you gotta talk about
I
it a
think
little bit.
we gotta talk about some of this, but
Yeah.
I think we do things maybe a little different, and maybe it's not the best way. But like each one of these departments, they try to have like 5-year plans or something, but it varies. Like we just spent $5 million or something on the sewer plant. They don't have so much hopefully coming up in the next 5 years. The police just trying to do, maintain our ordinances and maintain law and order in our community. Parks and Rec, it's obvious what they're trying to do. Ross is, I don't know that we quite have what you want. Yes, we'd like to keep our, some people want it to grow really big. Some people like to keep it a rural bedroom
And
community.
that's part of the master plan.
But we also got a master plan going. But I'm not sure we're gonna satisfy exactly what you would like. But, is there any other, did you have any more to say?
I just hope many organizations use this as a method to say what they're gonna do. Do what you say what you do.
I know,
It's
I've seen a lot of mission statements.
Yeah. And it's an excellent way for excellent organizations to operate, and I was just hoping that we could join that world.
Are there any other, yes?
Yeah, do we have a
Stand
pro-
up, please,
Oh.
identify yourself.
Galen Barker.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm wondering, what is the policy on burning things
Can't.
of anything?
you could have a campfire,
I mean, campfires and
you could have a
whatever
camp,
else people are
but you don't get the
doing.
bird leaves, you don't get the bird,
Yeah, I'm not talking about, I know you can't do leaves, you're not
can't burn
supposed to,
garbage.
but, these like campfires.
Yeah, you could have a
Do we-
campfire,
have-
yeah.
Do we have only certain days of the week they can do
You
that?
can have a
or
campfire
what?
every night.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to know.
No,
Because we
the
have to
main
close
thing-
our windows, it like blows right in and it's terrible. Okay.
The main thing is when we changed our ordinance like with the fires and things in the community and the burning leaves. I love burning leaves.
Me
I just
too.
loved it.
Drive through
However,
your cabin, roll down your window.
We had a lot of residents that had breathing problems.
Right.
We had people actually in here crying, asking us to do something. So, I mean, that was to me, a wonderful custom, but it sure doesn't trump people's health.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's why,
Okay. I didn't know we had one.
but
Yeah.
they didn't want to stop people from having a campfire or, roasting some hot dogs or something,
Okay.
Are there any other public comments? Okay, moving
I just
on.
want to make a comment though. All the activity on Facebook, I'm not a big Facebook fan because garbage on there. Anyway, everybody that's complaining and stuff, go to your briefing. That they want answers, that's the man to give them the answers. So on what date? May
22nd.
22nd.
They won't show.
I know.
Not
but
one
still.
person will show up.
I've had people I tried to answer, I even put my phone number on there.
Yeah.
Call me at home, I give them my number.
Yeah.
They wouldn't call, but they'd rather complain. It
We
just
have an
makes them
office.
feel good.
Call the
Yeah,
office.
got an
Yeah.
Call the office.
But
Yeah.
that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Are there any council comments? Yes,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I just
Dan?
want to let council know that our larger CD at Choice One matured on the 11th, and I'm going in tomorrow to set up a new one, and they're continuing the best rates around the shorter terms, so I'm gonna do a 6-month on it.
Hey, anything we can
To
get,
keep
you know.
earning money, right?
Yeah.
That was weird, I got a better rate on a 3-month one than on a 6-month one.
Yeah,
Yeah, she told me 3 and 6 would be the same,
Yeah.
so we'll do it for 6, because we don't know in 6 months where things will be, so.
are there any other council comments?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Ross.
I meant to talk about this while Paul was here, so he's escaped, but council knows that I'm working with Mike Steer, sewer commissioner, to replace the water line to the wastewater treatment plant.
That's exactly right.
I got it, I just, but as Jeff and Paul and I talked a week or so ago, we realized that we need to expand the survey that's going on down there to encompass other sewer lines that are at the west side of the facility and guard for the potential of a water line that could also be in that area. So Paul has given me an estimate of about $4,100 to expand the survey and get the entire property in there. I think the three of us agree, we only want to do this easement action one time and try to protect for everything now and to the future and not come back because we've missed something. So there may be a slight upcharge to some of the work that's being done, but I'll keep council informed as I get a better idea from Paul. We're not breaking ground or anything, the easement has to be done first, so, but we want to make sure we've got the appropriate survey to cover it.
Okay, any other council comments?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
go
got
ahead,
one.
Steve.
We've had a situation in the village here where some of the homeowners have cut down trees on the boulevard. That boulevard, the area between the sidewalk and the back of the curb, is village property. So if you have a problem with a tree or the sidewalk, like a tripping situation, please contact the office before you go and do anything like cutting a tree down.
Or if you make any changes to that property in between the sidewalk and the
Yeah.
street, that's village property, come in and talk to the village.
Yeah, and, let's see, brush is usually picked up on Fridays, they chip it. And if you've got loose leaves and twigs, those should be put in the paper bags so they can pick them up. Can't expect our DPW guys to be raking stuff up out onto your lawn there. So that's all I got.
Oh, good point. Okay, moving on then, we got any community events?
The Memorial Day Parade is on Memorial Day, and they're having a Four Corner fundraiser the Friday before.
Okay, any other community events?
And that's, it's the end, that's what it's just like that.
Okay, now, we do have a closed session, so, we're gonna have a closed session, and then we'll go back out of the closed session, so if you wanted to come back in, you could come in.
There
But
won't be
for the
motions.
pardon?
No
There won't be
motions.
action.
Yeah,
No,
we're
but
just
they're
gonna
still
close the
welcome
meeting.
to come in, which will basically just hear the adjournment, but
Right.
if you'd like to come back, then you're certainly welcome. But, can we have a motion to go into closed session? Maybe in a few minutes?
Motion to go into closed session at
5 minutes.
7:58. It's a
Yes,
5-minute break.
yeah.
Just so everybody's clear, the purpose of the closed session is to discuss potential property acquisition, just so everybody knows that when anybody's saying, well, what was it for?
Motion by Belkey,
Support.
supported by Clark.
I gotta do a roll.
Okay,
Belkey,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Conan,
yes?
Adair,
Yes.
Sturt, or I'm sorry, Barsick.
Yeah.
Okay,
The camera will go off during closed session and will come back on when we return.
we now go into our regular meeting, which please open the door, see if somebody does want to come in.
They're all waiting there.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second.
Now, as far as this mission
Hold on.
statement thing, again, a council person would have to put it on the agenda if you wanna do what, he wants you to do. What Mr. Richter would like you to do, but, so you guys should think about that. If we're not gonna do anything, we need to tell them that. The other thing, how about that snow ordinance? That's something the, planning commission looks.
Well, I think it's our deal. I mean,
I don't know.
we deal with the code enforcer.
Okay, again, somebody from the council's gotta put it on the agenda. But anyhow, you're right.
Yeah, we just need to.
So could I have a motion to close the meeting?
I'll make a motion that we close the meeting at 8:20, 8:21.
Support. So you get that? Elke and Shaw, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's approved.